Why, hello. It is I, Mr. Aaron. And it is 2 p.m., which means we have returned once again for more stories. Huzzah! So, today we are going to be starting a brand new story, but it has one big similarity to our last story that we read. It has a buried treasure. Only this treasure is not on Snake Island. This treasure is on Easter Island. That's right, we're taking an adventure with Geronimo Stilton to Easter Island, and we are going to be looking for the treasure of Easter Island. I think it's going to be exciting, guys. So let's go ahead and dive right in, shall we? Whoop. An adventure to remember. I'm ready to tell you all about an incredible adventure I'll never forget. The story is very special to me because it takes place in one of the most mysterious places on Earth. The whole thing started on a beautiful spring morning. Oops! Oh, what terrible manners. I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Stilton, Geronimo Stilton, and I'm the publisher of the Rodents Gazette, the most famous newspaper on Mouse Island. Anyway, that spring morning I was hard at work in my office. For the record, I'm always hard at work when I'm in the office, even if my grandfather, William Shortpaws, says otherwise. I was with Susie Shuttermouse, our new staff photographer. We were deciding which photo to put on the front page of our next issue. Susie is also best friends with my sister Thea, and Thea is the newspaper's special correspondent. Susie pointed to a photo of the Amazon rainforest. The image showed a crew of rats chopping down trees and vegetation. "Listen to me, Geronimo," Susie squeaked. "You should put a story about the Amazon on the front page. We have to do something to keep these rats from destroying the rainforest. I risked my fur to take these photos. Now the least you can do is publish them." "Nice work, Susie," I said proudly. "I can already see the headline. Amazon rainforest in danger from—" Before I could finish, my office door flew open, and my cousin Trap burst in. He also works for the newspaper, though you'd never know it. He only shows up in the office when it's convenient for him. Anyway, he was pinching his nose with one paw, and he held an umbrella in the other paw. A letter dangled by a string from the tip of the umbrella. And as if that wasn't weird enough, a cloud of flies buzzed around the letter. "You've got mail, Geronimo," Trap squeaked. "And boy, does it stink." He snipped the string with a pair of scissors, and the letter landed on my desk with a flutter. "Yuck, yuck, yuck," Trap screeched. "Rat-munching rattlesnakes! Where's this thing from? A garbage dump? A sewage treatment plant? An underground cave full of rancid riches that haven't bathed in years?" He turned to leave, calling over his shoulder, "You better close the door before you open that thing, 'cause everyone in the newsroom is complaining about the awful stench." I sighed. Was it my fault someone had sent me the stinkiest piece of mail in all of New Mouse City? A second later, Susie closed the door with a bang. Then she dashed to the window and threw it open. A gust of wind blew into the office, making it much easier to breathe. Next, she took a pair of tweezers out of her giant equipment bag and carefully picked up the envelope. Finally, she pulled out a magnifying glass and used it to examine the foul piece of mail. "That's odd," Susie remarked. "This comes from Easter Island. Who would write to you from there, Geronimo?" I shook my head in surprise. Musty Mwinster, I have no idea, I exclaimed. Easter Island is one of the most mysterious places in the world, and it's in the middle of nowhere. My paws trembled with excitement as I opened that strange, stinky envelope. Another surprise awaited me inside. The letter was from my sister, Thea. Dear Geronimo, I found a map that leads to treasure on Easter Island, and I've decided to search for it. I'm on the island right now, but I'm afraid that finding the treasure could be very difficult, so that's why I'm sending you a copy of the map. If you receive this letter before I'm able to call you, it's because I may be in danger and I need your help. Find me by following the directions on the map. See you soon. Love, Thea. P.S. Don't dilly-dally. Leave immediately. P.P.S. Invite someone adventurous to come with you. Someone like Wild Willie. P.P.P.S. Take Susie with you as well. She can take photos to go along with my story, and the Rodents Gazette will have the scoop of the year. Furthermore, remember to update your will before leaving. This island is very mysterious, and who knows what might happen on a search for treasure. You may be leaving your fur behind. Oh, one last thing. I hope you didn't find this letter too stinky. I wanted to keep any sneaky rodents from opening it and reading the map, so I dipped the letter in guano. That's bird poop, in case you were wondering. It stinks so much no one would ever want to open it. Aren't you impressed with my ingenuity? Map to the treasure of Easter Island. Find the biggest ahu and its 15 protectors. Turn west and search for the great water that is and isn't. At the end of the day, follow the sun and you'll find the 7 young explorers. Take 7 gigantic steps to the right, 3 warrior steps to the left, and 1 baby step forward. The sigh of the wind will take you far away to the big black bubble. There, the sea hides an ancient secret, the treasure of Easter Island. Treasure, treasure, treasure. What? I stammered. A map? Treasure? Easter Island? My whiskers trembled with fear. I didn't want to go on a treasure hunt. In case you didn't know it, I'm a real scaredy mouse. As soon as I uttered the word treasure, the door flew open and smacked me in the snout. Oh, ouchie! I squeaked. It was my cousin Trap. He had clearly been standing just on the other side of the door, eavesdropping. He didn't even apologize. "A treasure?" he squeaked, rubbing his paws together greedily. "I'm coming with you. Oh, what a beautiful word. Treasure, treasure, treasure." "Trap, don't you understand?" I scolded him. "The treasure isn't important. Thea is. I received her letter, but she hasn't called. That means she's in danger." Susie tried to call Thea on the phone, but she didn't answer at home or on her cell phone. "Rat-munching rattlesnakes!" I squeaked. "Thea must be in real danger. She always answers her cell phone." I was so worried about my sister that I fainted from fear. As I said, I'm a real scaredy mouse. But Susie managed to revive me. First she smacked my cheek, then she pinched my ear. Next she poured ice-cold water from a vase of flowers over my snout. And finally she stuffed a piece of cheese into my mouth. While I was trying to get myself together, Susie called Wild Willie. Do you know him? He's an archaeologist and a true adventure mouse. "Wild Willie, is that you?" Susie squeaked. "It's Susie, the official photographer for the Rodents Gazette. Thea has disappeared." "Huh? Yeah, there's a treasure map." "Huh? Yeah, Easter Island. Right? We'll leave right away. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, won't dilly-dally. Right. She hung up. "Wild Willie is on his way," she squeaked with satisfaction. "We're leaving immediately." "What do you mean?" I stammered. "We're leaving right now, but I have to pack a bag and turn on my out-of-office message and say goodbye to my sweet nephew Benjamin." Suddenly, a gust of wind hit me right in the snout. Then I heard an incredible noise from just outside my window. Before I knew what was happening, a giant hook seemed to come out of the sky. A second later, I was dangling by my jacket collar as the hook scooped me up and carried me away. "Help!" I squeaked. I turned toward Trap and Susie, hoping they'd pull me inside. But instead, Trap grabbed my tail and Susie grabbed his. "Go with the adventure!" Susie shouted with a giggle as the hook lifted the three of us into the air. Moldy mozzarella! Where were we going? I'm alive. I'm still alive. A midnight blue airplane with a fierce dragon painted on it flew overhead as we soared over the roofs of New Mouse City. My whiskers quivered with fright. Have I mentioned that I get airsick? And that's when I'm actually inside an airplane, not dangling below one. "Help!" I shrieked. With a metallic screech, the cable above me began to wind upward. Finally, I landed inside the plane. Thwump! "This is Fabumouse!" Trap shouted. "Awesome!" Susie squeaked in agreement. But there were no shouts of excitement from me. I kissed the floor of the plane and I cried with relief. "I'm alive! I'm still alive!" "Well, for now," a deep voice muttered. It was Wild Willie. He was the one flying the plane. He handed me a map. "Instead of wasting your breath, help me figure out the route to Easter Island," he squeaked, "and then read this travel guidebook." I was about to protest, but he stared at me with his piercing eyes. "Don't you want to find Thea?" Wild Willie asked. "Come on, help me with the map, and don't make any mistakes or we'll have to make an emergency landing in the middle of a stormy ocean, or on top of a craggy mountain peak." Emergency landing? I quickly agreed to help, but when I opened the map, what I saw gave me chills from the top of my head to the very tip of my tail. Easter Island was far away and in the middle of nowhere. And when I read the travel guide, I realized there were many, many mysteries surrounding the island. Is that it? No way. We flew for hours and hours. Wild Willie kept his gaze fixed on the flight instruments. He never moved away from the controls. I, on the other paw, couldn't take my eyes off the foam-topped blue waves churning and crashing below us. The ocean seemed endless. According to my guidebook, the Polynesian people who had once explored the area navigated the ocean in simple outrigger canoes. How terrifying! Susie took photo after photo. "Does this plane do stunts?" she asked Wild Willie as she snapped a shot of him at the controls. He raised his left eyebrow. "Obviously," he replied coolly. "I doubt it," Trap muttered. To prove himself, Wild Willie immediately leaned on the controls, sending the plane into a wild corkscrew. "Help!" I screeched. "Is that it?" Trap scoffed. "No way! You can't do anything better." With a sudden lurch, the plane dove into a death-defying spiral. I squeaked, terrified. "I don't want to lose my fur." "Oh, that's nothing," Trap teased Willie. "If I were behind the controls." Before Trap could finish his sentence, Wild Willie took the tiny plane through one breathtaking stunt after another. During all these daredevil moves, I gripped the seat of the plane for dear life. My whiskers twisted with terror, and I was so airsick I thought I might toss my cheese. Luckily, Susie's kindness saved me. She rummaged through her equipment bag and found a bottle of bubbly seltzer water. "Here," she said. "This will help settle your stomach, Geronimo." Thank good mouse for her. "Is that enough stunts, or do you want some more?" Wild Willie shouted to Trap over the roar of the plane's engine. "Please tell him that's enough," I begged Trap. "I can't take another second of these loop-de-loops." Trap scratched his snout and thought about it for what seemed like an eternity. "Well, I have to admit those were some pretty impressive stunts," he conceded. Only then did Wild Willie finally return the plane to a horizontal position. He grinned proudly. A moment later, an island shaped like a triangle appeared on the horizon. "We've arrived on Easter Island!" Susie squeaked excitedly. "Yes, here we are, in the middle of nowhere," Wild Willie remarked darkly. "Did you remember to update your will, Geronimo?" I shook my snout. When would I have had the time? "Don't worry, Geronimo," Susie chirped. "I'll help you do it now. To whom would you like to leave the Rodent Gazette?" Trap tugged on my tail. "Geronimo, my friend and favorite cousin," he said sweetly. A little too sweetly, if you ask me. "You're gonna leave the paper to me, right? I know all about running a newspaper, unlike you. I think you should also leave me your antique cheese rind collection. And don't worry about your tombstone. I'll write something really nice. Okay, how about, 'Here lies Geronimo Stilton, a real scaredy mouse. He met his end on Easter Island when he suffered an attack of uncontrollable fear.'" That was something nice. "That's enough," I squeaked. "Why does everyone keep asking if I've updated my will anyway?" The three of them exchanged an understanding look. What were they keeping from me? "He's a real jittery mouse, isn't he?" Wild Willie said. "You're the ones making me jittery," I said impatiently. I put on my seatbelt and closed my eyes. What kind of danger awaited me? My heart beat faster just thinking about it. But my desire to help Thea was stronger than any fear I felt. I opened my wallet and took out a photo of my sister. "I'll save you, little sister," I whispered. Welcome to Rapa Nui. Before I knew it, the plane was landing at Mataveri International Airport. A friendly-looking rodent with golden fur and long black hair met us at the gate. "Welcome to Rapa Nui," she greeted us. "My name is Vaitia, and I will be your guide." She presented each of us with a garland of multicolored flowers. "We're not like other tourists," Trap boasted. I could tell he was trying to make a good impression on Vaitia. "We're here hunting for trout." Susie clapped her paw over Trap's snout before he could finish. "We're here on vacation, just like all these other tourists," Susie squeaked confidently. "We would love to see the island's most interesting sights." Susie showed Vaitia a photo of Thea. "This is our friend who was recently on the island," she said. "Have you seen her?" "No, I'm sorry," Vaitia replied, shaking her head. "She doesn't look familiar." We were all hungry from our long flight, so Vaitia took us to a great restaurant in the harbor. We ate huge grilled shrimp, fish soup, and mahi-mahi, a fish dinner that is often served on the island. During dinner, Vaitia told us some of the history of Easter Island. Rapa Nui is the other name for Easter Island, she began. It's also the name of the people who lived here, and I'm proud to be one of them. My people speak two languages, Rapa Nui and Spanish. Then she taught us a few words and phrases. I began taking notes. Rapa Nui was a very interesting language. At the end of dinner, I showed off my knowledge and said to Vaitia, excuse me, Mauru Uru, thank you. Riva Riva, very good, Vaitia replied, smiling. Now, would you like to see a typical dance? She asked. A performance is about to begin. And I think that is where we are going to leave off for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to tune in at 2 p.m. on Monday when we continue the story of Geronimo Stilton on Easter Island. Of course, I want to let you guys know about this really cool thing that we have going on right now. They're the grab-and-go craft bags. So each library has a different grab-and-go craft bag for each week. And so we change them out each week, and they're just crafts that you can come in and you can grab them and you can take them home, and they've got all the stuff in there, and you can make different ones. Like I think there was a kite one, and there were some space ones this week, and we'll have some new ones coming out next week. They're really cool stuff. Of course, be sure to check out our other live programs, Toddler Time with Miss Becky, Stories with Sunny, and Creating with Constance. The libraries are once again open to the public if you want to come in and see us, or you can still get items through curbside service if you prefer. And don't forget that you can still access digital content through sweetwaterlibraries.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I really enjoy doing this for you. I hope you enjoy listening, and we will see you on Monday.